Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here in this video today. I want to talk a little bit about TSM once again. We have a pretty big kind of thing that has developed regarding the TSM roster that kind of clues us in a little bit more to the future of TSM and a little bit more of what's going on with this team, not only for summer of 2020, but into the future as well. Obviously, over the past couple of days, we've heard a lot of the new rumors, a lot of the new news that it looks like Maple's going to be coming in the mid lane, that the team added Mia, and it looks like he's probably going to be the starting support, but some other interesting developments have come out since then, and we're going to be talking about those today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on anything we got going on in the near future, and consider checking out the Patreon. First link in the description below if you want to get early access to all the videos before they go live on YouTube. Also, I wanted to say that over the next couple of days and weeks, I am in the process of moving cross country yet again, so I'm going to be doing my best, but I'm also going to be recording a lot of videos today to kind of put out over the next couple of days, put out over the next couple of weeks, just in case I need a video to drop and all that stuff. So I'm going to do my best to keep the quality up and to keep the news as breaking and as up to date as it can, but there might be some lapses here and there. There might be some little drops. Hopefully you guys don't mind too much, but just know I'm going to be doing my best. But man, I have a crazy, stressful couple of weeks coming up on top of, the off season, which is already a crazy and stressful time. With that being said, let's get right into this one. So the big news that we were talking about today, and this is something that a lot of people have been talking about, I tweeted it out, pretty big development, takes us to the global contract database. This is kind of like the up-to-date information for all the contracts in the League of Legends scene. They have everything: NA, Europe, Korea, China, Brazil, CIS, Japan, Latin America. They got everything. They have all the players in the LCS right now, Academy, like the whole organizations, all that stuff. And if we scroll on down to TSM, there is something that people have been noticing recently. And obviously, you have Huni, you have Spica, Tactical, Shenny, Hyper, Takeover, Instinct, and Yursan. You will obviously notice here that there is no Kaido. There is no, mid lane for that starting lineup of TSM. Now, obviously, the Academy team is missing a top laner as well, but we had already heard that Viper is gone. It seems like Anime Girl might be coming into the Academy top lane for TSM. We'll have to wait and see. That seems like the most likely candidate at this point, but Kaido is out. So, that's not super surprising. Obviously, if TSM is bringing in Maple, like the rumors and speculation and everything have been, again, that's not shocking. They're not going to have three mid laners. They don't have an amateur team that I know of right now, at least. I don't know. But either way, between these two teams, there was only going to be, two mid laners, obviously. And Kaido didn't seem that great. He got benched. Takeover starting at the end of the year. Takeover really did better in his time with TSM. I don't really think either of them were that impressive, and I don't think, at least at this point, many people believe that either of them is really the future of TSM or any other LCS team. Takeover had some impressive plays. He had some impressive moments, but maybe on like a lesser team, but not a team like TSM that should be, going for world spots, should be vying for LCS titles, all that stuff, even though that seems really far away at this point for TSM. But yes, it seems like Kaido has been released from the team. We don't know what's going to be going on with him next. We don't know if he's going to be heading back to China, if he's going to try and play with another team in the West. Like, who knows what's going on? I assume he's going back to China. I assume he might even go back to TT again. I don't know for sure. But this is interesting, the fact that it seems like he has been dropped, released, kicked, whatever, and not like sold off or anything like that. Not that, again, many people would think he has a ton of value at this point. I don't even think he had a ton of value coming into this season, but still, Reggie had talked about how much TSM spent on this roster and how the two buyouts for Shenny and Kaido together were over $1 million. So that leads me to believe that I know Shenny was super expensive, and I know he was the more expensive package part of those two, but it makes me wonder, Kaido had to have some dollar value. Now, hey, maybe some of that came from Peter Zhang running up the values a little bit on these players or whatever, who knows for sure, but it is kind of a disaster for TSM to spend, I'm going to assume, at least six figures of a buyout on Kaido, a guy who nobody had really even heard of before. Nobody that I had heard of really considered him that hot of a prospect or that big of a name coming out of China. And then to, call it a 3-year plan, to say we're developing for the future, and then to replace him after one split, not be able to sell him off or get anything in return for him, and then, replace him with a veteran mid laner that's not building for the future, that's not, just aligns with nothing that they said in this past offseason. Makes no sense at all. this team speaks Mandarin or this whole Chinese experiment or whatever, being done after just one split is pretty crazy. And now this is kind of 2 disastrous years in a row for TSM. Think back to last year, they probably spent a decent amount of money on Power of Evil. We know they spent a decent amount of money on Sword Art, and then, hey, doesn't seem like they got anything in return for Sword Art. We know that there was no buyout for Power of Evil. Now they've brought in Kaido and lost him. And it's like when you look over at some of the best teams in the world and some of the best managed teams in the world, somebody like G2, hey, they, made some maybe not great roster acquisitions last offseason, bringing in Reckless, and just that whole roster didn't work well together. They sold off Wonder. They sold off Reckless. They sold off Mickey. Even if, they had to play some hardball and do some hard negotiations and all this stuff. And they also worked their contracts in a way where their players were never playing on expiring contracts, where they're always going to be able to get something out of them. And now TSM, again, they did the stuff last offseason. They're doing the stuff with Kaido. They have Spica playing on an expiring contract. And there's a very, very real possibility at this point that Spica is going to leave TSM for free. It seems like TSM is mismanaging their roster compositions, their contracts, everything in so many ways, and it seems really, really bad. But the news that Kaido is out of the global contract database, is no longer part of TSM, I think is pretty significant. Just a one-split project, and really less than a one-split project, because he didn't even play a whole split for TSM. I mean, really looking back to this offseason from everything we heard coming out of the TSM camp, who could have guessed that this would be, where we were at? But the other interesting thing that people are noting is that Shen-Yi is still on the roster. So, they went about, removing Kaido and releasing him or whatever, but they have not done that with Shen-Yi yet. And that obviously leads to a couple possibilities. One, Shen-Yi was a valuable prospect coming into this year. The rumors we heard was that Shen-Yi actually had some LPL offers and had opportunities to maybe play on some lower tier LPL teams, or maybe even some mid to upper tier LPL teams. Who knows? Who knows why he came to TSM? If it was because it was the best team he had a chance to play on, is it because they were offering the most money? Who knows for sure? But he was a hyped up prospect. He is young. He did play pretty well, when he was actually playing. So it is possible that TSM is maybe actively trying to sell him off. Maybe they're trying to sell him to the LPL. Maybe they're trying to sell him to another team. Maybe they're trying to get something in return for him, so that's why they haven't removed him yet. The other possibility is that he's maybe going to go to Academy. Now, I don't know how that would work with Yursan still being there. I don't know what Yursan's future holds. Maybe they're trying to sell him off. Maybe Yursan's going to get kicked. Maybe they're going to try and go with some kind of 6-man roster at the LCS level with Mia and Shen-Yi both, trying to split time or make something work or trying to figure something out. There is all these different possibilities at this point that I don't know. TSM, is set to have 3 supports on this roster. I don't know who's going to be, the odd man out, who's going to be trying to get sold. Maybe they'll do a 6-man Academy roster. I don't know for sure, but again, wanted to get the info out to you guys that yes, Kaido has been removed from the global contract database, but Shen-Yi has not yet at this point. So, one half of the Chinese experiment is gone. The other half is still here. And again, with the roster they have coming in, people are asking all kind of questions of hey, why are we going with a Korean support and a Chinese or Taiwanese or whatever Maple is mid? Why, if Maple is an option now, why did we not get Maple when we got Sword Art last year? If Maple's an option now, why did we not get Maple when we got, when we brought in Shen-Yi this year? Why did we go with Kaido ever? Why did we go with Power of Evil ever? And it really doesn't seem like TSM knows. It just seems like they're kind of, stitching their roster together each offseason. People have been very, very skeptical about it. It seems like TSM's going cheap. It seems like TSM's doing a lot of weird stuff. But also another part to key into this whole thing is that making offseason moves between spring and summer is really, really hard. There's not as many options. There's not as many players available. Maybe this is just the best team TSM can put together for now, and they know looking ahead to next offseason, they're probably going to have to blow this up all again, because what are you going to do with Huni? Spica probably leaving at this point. So you're going to need at least a jungler and a franchise player. You're maybe going to need a top laner. Who knows what's going to happen with the other positions. So, TSM could just be trying to, as decently but cheaply as possible, put together a roster with maybe some pieces that they can keep for the future, maybe not. But again, we know we're looking ahead to 2023. It doesn't seem like TSM's going to Worlds in 2022 anyway, so this summer split won't really matter to them that much. So there could be a little bit of preparation going on for the future and trying to figure some things out in that way, because, man, the 2023 offseason is going to be spicy for them. Because you can make the excuse that right now there's not a ton of options, it's hard, it's difficult, whatever. come next offseason, there's going to be so many players available. There's going to be all the options on the table. And if you have a heartbreaking ending to 2021, a disastrous 2022, and then another terrible 2023, then you really got to start to question, what is TSM doing? What is going on? A team with just too much money, too many resources, too much history, too much pedigree, too much brand name to be failing in the ways they are. But just wanted to get this latest TSM news out to you guys today. Pretty much it for this video. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. You think it was a good move to get rid of Kaido? You think they should have hung on to him? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the Patreon. First link in the description below. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.